Hey everybody, Coach Troy here. Now, a few days ago, Atari announced that they are doing the 7800 Plus, now available for pre-order. Now, the 7800 Plus is essentially just a 2600 Plus with a radical cool late 80s PAL region aesthetic. So, pretty much the same thing, but it's got a few other features. So if you haven't gotten your 2600 Plus yet, now would be a great time because it's got that, a few other features, and a wireless controller. Pretty cool. But more importantly than that, they announced that they are now going to be selling a bunch of new games. Well, not exactly new games, but I guess a new format to play these games. Now, it's not just going to be 7800, it's going to be 2600 as well. And some of them are going to be full collections. So let's check out exactly what they are and see what we think. Now, starting with the 2600, there's going to be several collections of games. And they're going to do similar to what they did with the 10-in-1 pack, where they're going to have the dip switches on the back. And you're going to use those to select which game you're going to have. So, similar to this, some people were given the dip switches flack, but I don't know. I kind of liked them. Now, the first collection of games we're going to look at is the Real Sports Collection. You're going to have 7 different games in there, so the entire lineup of Real Sports games. You're going to have soccer, which I think is the best version of soccer on there. Tennis, which is pretty good. Baseball, it's okay. Football, Boxing, and then volleyball. Volleyball, I think, is one of the best sports games on the 2600. I think it was a little later of a release, but I think it's super underrated. Though if you already got this one, it's going to be on there already, but, what are you going to do? And lastly, they're going to have basketball. So that's going to be a new game that hasn't been released in that collection. So even if you got all the games, I guess that's one thing you could be looking for. But I'm sure that if you are a collector, you're going to have some of the Real Sports games, so you got to kind of determine whether or not buying all of them to have them all in one spot is worth it, or do you already have enough of them? And that's going to be kind of what you got to do with a few of these different collections of games. The second collection of games is going to be the Epyx line of games. I'm a big fan of the Epyx games. I got summer games, winter games, and California games I don't have. So it might actually be worth it for me to grab the new one, because then I'll have all 3 in one spot, though it might just be cheaper for me to find summer games. So again, that's one of those determinations I gotta make. Is it worth it to get a new cartridge with all of them on it, or just find that old one? Either way, I'm super glad that they are doing the Epyx, because I'm a big fan. If you haven't played them, it is a bunch of mini games kind of based around, they just released on every single platform. I mostly played it for the Commodore 64, but the Atari ones are solid as well. And the third collection of games is going to be the M Network collection. Now, sadly, I think a missed opportunity. They're not going to be in this cool cart here, right? Because I know Mattel, M Network, they had their different little unique design for the carts. So, unfortunately, not going to be like that, it doesn't look like. But what it is going to have is going to be Armour Ambush. So that'll be, their version of the tank game. Astroblast, which I feel is a little underrated. I like that one, but it gets a little flack. Star Strike. And then the fourth game, which kind of doesn't seem to fit with the other 3, the odd one out, Frogs and Flies, which is way more fun than it should be two-player game. And lastly, for the 2600, we're going to have Caverns of Mars. Interesting story with this game. It is a homebrew turned 8-bit computer port that's now going to be deconstructed for the 2600. I don't know. Either way, pretty cool. And this is a vertical shooter, but you're dropping down instead of going up the screen. And really cool, it's actually going to have a save feature. I'm not sure what that looks like yet. Is it a battery save? Is it a password? I don't know. But pretty cool that they're going to have an actual save feature on a 2600 game. The only other one to do that, I think, was the Secret Quest that had the password system in there. Now, moving into the 7800 line of games, we're going to start with the big one, of course, Bentley Bears Crystal Quest by the legendary Robert DeCrescenzo. This was a homebrew that he made back a few years back, and apparently this is the platforming game that the system never got. So while this is a game I personally have not played yet, I'm very excited for it. It looks good, and I've heard nothing but good things. So I think it's just fitting that this guy is getting his game as the pack-in for the new system. I mean, how cool is that? I think he's earned it. And if you're a fan of his, you're also going to see that they have Asteroids Deluxe, which is another one he did. So if you're a fan of Asteroids, I think the 1700 version of Asteroids is probably the best on the system. But, hey, we got another version, and it is now available. As well as Space Duel. So, lots of options there. I don't know if I'm going to get those because I love the 1700 version of Asteroids that we already have. But, maybe I'll get there eventually. I only have so much money. I can't buy every game, right? And another one that a lot of people are excited about is Bounty Bob Strikes Back, another Robert DeCrescenzo game. This is the sequel to Miner 2049er, and another one that I have not had the luxury of playing yet. So, this is one that I'm looking forward to, and I might pull the trigger on as well. And lastly, we got the big controversy with Frenzy and Berserk. These are going to be separately packaged and sold. I know before on the Atari Age store, like if you were to buy Frenzy, it would come with Berserk in it as well. I guess that's on me for not buying it earlier in life, right? But still, I don't know if I'm going to get both. I'll probably just end up getting Frenzy. I guess you got to decide who you want to get killed by more, Evil Otto or Crazy Otto. Anyway, these are the games that are coming in. Now tell me, are any of these games that you are super interested in? Anything that I should really check out? Which ones would you recommend to me? Also, what games do you think that they should actually start putting in production again? Are there any other games that deserve a little bit more love and should be on Atari's radar? Anyway, this is Coach Troy. Looking forward to playing some games, and I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for joining me as I start my journey into the world of retro gaming. If you're interested in my other hobbies of fitness or board games, check out my other channel. Anyways, this is Coach Troy. I'll see y'all next time.